when you're into a regular sport, whatever it is, it's always in a season and a league and a team's format. And then the individual stars live within the teams and the seasons and the league. Mm-hmm. When I got over into martial arts, everything was in a one night, 1 day tournament format. There were no leagues. There were no seasons. And so you didn't, if I wanted to follow an athlete in MMA, I had to wait to see him until the next time he comes up. And especially at that time, he might be in the UFC, he might be in Pride. How am I supposed to watch Pride? Like, I got to go find the videotapes and, you know, and then even like karate tournaments. That's a tournament format. It's a 1 day format. There's no season. When Jiu-Jitsu's tournaments, when I found out about that, it's always just a tournament. And then when people started trying to make Jiu-Jitsu professional, they started wrapping Jiu-Jitsu around these 1 day models, which don't allow, as a fan, it doesn't allow you to become invested in an individual athlete in the same way. So how could you become a fan of the sport? There's no way for you to invest in it. There's only one guy to invest in, and he's the winner. And when am I going to see him again? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for me, as a fan, I noticed that. But then as a competitor too, it creates a situation where if you go and compete let's say you're in a wrestling season or basketball season, football season, you're going to have regular competition every week. Friday night football, game. Friday night football, game throughout the whole season. Practice during the week, game. Practice during the week, game. And so you get this repetition and skill set over time of competing in and of itself. Like, competing is a separate skill set from being good at the sport that you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But over here, we would go, all right, I got to get in training camp and I got to get ready for this big thing, and it's coming up in 3 months. And all of your energy and your stress and it goes into this one repetition of competing. And because of that, you start to elevate it to this place where you can get more nervous than you should, or it can mean more than it should. A loss means more than it really a loss should. And a win means more than a win really should.
That's a good point.
And so as a coach, for my athletes, I started picking up on this. I'm like, they're not getting the skill of competing because they're putting too much value, whether positive or negative, on the outcome of what happens at this Naga this weekend. They think that means that they're good or bad, but it doesn't. It just means that they're good or bad at competing this weekend. Mm-hmm. But if they could come out and do it again next weekend, and the next weekend, just like a wrestling season, they would start to build a comfortability with fire. Mm-hmm. And so those were the two elements where I was like, man, I got to cook something up. And so I sat with this idea, and I would talk about it with my friends. Like, I'd talk about it with Scaff, and I'd talk about it with Lindsay, and I'd talk about it with Keelan. And then when the pandemic stuff all started, I was like, there are no options over here. There's no way to compete over here. I can't have my guys over here dying for lack of competition. They're gonna wither on the vine. And so I sat me, my wife, and Keelan Lawyer, who's my co-founder for the PGF, brilliant. We sat down at my kitchen table. I was like, guys, just give me 5 hours of your time. And I cleared off the kitchen table, and this is how I manage my ADD. I just put blank paper all over the table, and I put a pen down on each piece of paper. I was like, okay, if we wanted to build this idea, what will we need? Oh, we need great referees. All right, this paper's about officials. And I'll just write and talk with them until, also, we're going to need a Facebook page. Oh, come over here to marketing page. And I write down, also, man, we're going to have to think about what does the rule set look like, and come down here and write the rules. What are the teams? How many minutes should the matches be? And I just start. And we packaged together that night the first mildly tangible version of the PGF, and then we started going to work on it. Yeah, you remember the other day we were talking about how when the muse hits, it takes over your life and nothing else can exist, you know, and you almost become crippled.
You got this inspiration
Yeah.
all of a sudden that's revealed to you. Doesn't matter what point in time, you have to get out of whatever you're doing and stay put, working on that idea that just came to you until it's out. All the way.
And then the idea
was that how it happened?
Yeah, that's exactly that's the way generally things work with me. Is I'll sit and I'll stew,
have a flurry,
and I'll think or I'll experience in whatever. Like in this, I needed, you know, a decade or more of jiu-jitsu under my belt to recognize the issue.
Yeah,
and I needed to be have a real connection to my athletes to understand what their actual needs were. So I needed to have all these experiences to lead to the I call it the brain fire. Me and my wife call it the brain fire. But when the brain fire starts, you can't put it out.
So kitchen table, Brainstorm to first official PGF tournament.
Oh, fast.
What was the lapse of time right there?
Not long.
Really?
Not long. No.
So once you came up with the idea,
we gotta let's throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
Was it mainly your students who you used initially, or you had out of towners as well?
Both. A lot of my own students, and then a lot of people just from the area. Because in my mind, I was running an experiment. I was just testing a hypothesis, right? Like, I think this is a great idea, but this could be a terrible idea, you know? And we'll put it on YouTube. That'll give it the pressure of competition, right? And what is a league going to need? When a league was fully formed at the end, it's going to need a fantasy league and it's going to need podcasts. So we put all of those things in place early. And a lot of times it was just like the worst viable version of it, but we'll put it out here, we'll run the experiment, and then we'll bring it back when it's done, and we'll have all these lessons, and we'll tweak, and then we'll get out and we'll run another iteration as fast as we can. Tweak. Great point. Tweak. And so we start messing with the rules just a little. Adjust, because the first idea was really good. We'll adjust the rules. What if in the first season it was all week by week?
Can you refresh everybody on the rules in the beginning, and then as it evolved, what additions or changes took place?
Well, I wanted to steal a lot of what wrestling does, because the pace of wrestling is tremendous.
Yeah.
And so what do? They have essentially a 6-minute match, 3 2-minute periods. It's like, well, we're just going to have 6 minutes. I always have felt like jiu-jitsu matches can just be too long, right? And that could be a whole discussion for another day. I got some strong feelings on that, but I think they're too long. And I think that an athlete is going to spend 100% of his effort, no matter how much time you give him. But if you give him 20 minutes, he can't spend more than 100%. He's going to space that effort out in the way that makes the most sense. Well, if we compress it down to 6 minutes, he doesn't have more energy. He has the same 100% to give, but now he's got to spend it all in this 6 minutes, and that's way more fun to watch.
Well, so you it's submission based.
Yes.
And you have
no
a time
points.
limit. If nobody scores points, is because there was no submission. So I could have points all over you, pass your guard, mount on you, smash you all day, and if I don't tap you, you and I are on the same boat.
That's right.
And
if you lose or draw, it's the same penalty. Like you don't get extra penalty for losing.
Points.
It encourages you to take a risk.
The one who taps the other that gets something, and I guess not every submission has the same value. Correct?
That's right. A choke, and I took this from Elio Gracie from hearing him in interviews and reading books. Is a choke kills a man. A arm lock, maybe the guy doesn't even quit fighting, or maybe we just go to the hospital, but a choke is final.
Right.
At the end of a choke, you're alive because I chose for you to be alive. I made the decision to let you live. At the end of an arm lock, you can make a decision if you keep fighting with a broken arm, and it can be a very violently and badly broken arm, but you can choose to keep going. And we've seen that happen how many times in jiu-jitsu. Think about Jamal Hill versus Paul Craig in MMA when he's just, his arm is broken inside that triangle. It's just flopping on the mat. Or think about Jacare and Hajer, you know, the arm just dangling, broken. But I still have my goal in front of me. Well, it doesn't matter if you're unconscious. It doesn't matter where your goal is. You're dead.
Neck is king.
Yeah.
So 6 points for neck and 3 points for joints?
That's right. We call them a kill or a break. 6 points for a kill, 3 points for a break, and an extra point for either one under a minute.
Okay.
And
the faster the better.
speed. And if the referees deem you to be stalling, 20-second shot clock. And if you get called for stalling and they have to stop you, they throw a flag, they blow a whistle. I want it to feel embarrassing that you got called for stalling, and we'll stop the match and we put you on bottom referee position. And the reason that we chose the referee position for the restart is that it's very close to having your back taken. We're putting the offensive play, the guy who got penalized, we're putting him as close as we can in a way that we still feel is fair to being submitted. Like you're very close to getting 6 points scored on you and getting killed right here. So
my question is, how many of those you run out of your school, I guess, initially? And when did you go to a greater venue or scaled?
Okay, so season 1, we did all at my gym in Decatur, Alabama. And it was week by week, every Friday night.
Can you tell everybody about your gym, what your gym name is and where exactly it is? Go ahead.
10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Decatur, Alabama.
All right, guys, remember, Decatur, 10th Planet, Alabama.
Yep, it's run by the lovely and powerful Lindsay Jones McCaghren. She's the real boss over there.
She's the boss.
I'm sure.
Well, my wife is Lindsay too, so I feel you. It's a good name.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. It's nice to have a dragon in charge at the gym instead of a teddy bear.
So how many did you do there?
We did season 1 there every Friday night. They had games. But what we realized is that we could learn much, much faster. We could really accelerate our learning on this thing if we compressed the whole season down into a week.
I got you.
And so
it was not the case in the beginning. In the beginning, you had on a weekly basis.
Yeah, the first idea was to run it week by week.
And when was the first time you compressed and put everything one day after the other?
Season 2.
Season 2, huh?
And then season 2.
What was the difference between the two, in your opinion?
Well, the initial model is better.
Better for who?
For the fans and for the athletes themselves.
Well,
for everybody.
I agree with the athletes part, because I saw in the last couple of seasons that I was able to follow, including being a coach in the last one, that they had a 3-day stretch of the regular tournament, 4 days, I'm sorry, where they had 3 matches a day. And in terms of intensity of the matches, every match was like literally a sprint mixed up with a marathon. So those guys are doing a marathon in sprints. That makes any sense. And then after day 4, if they did the top 8, you still had the grand finale, which likely, if you did all good till the end, even if you're a runner-up, you should have 3 more matches to go. I don't know how those guys did it. So I would assume that the weekly definitely is better for the athletes, more recovery. You know, you have time to heal if there's anything going on. But in terms of fan base and interest in the media, the streaming, how different was it for you?
Well, because it was a new idea, nobody had ever even. Yeah. I don't guess they probably even thought about how to do that.
Everybody's attention right off the bat.
Yeah, not everybody's, but it did get some attention early that we were very grateful for, because because people were watching it allowed us to grow and have feedback, both positive and negative.
So the second season you compressed.
The second season we compressed it all down and we put them all in the gym for a week, and we filmed.
Was that at your place?
10th Planet Decatur. We filmed it all, but then we released the episodes one at a time. So when the episodes came out, it wasn't live. So it was more like an Ultimate Fighter.
You did the tournament all at once, one day after the other, but you didn't show the whole thing. You showed day 1, 1 week, day 2. I got you.
And
so
I was
one
like,
way or the other.
Great idea, but the problem is it wasn't live sports anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't appointment television anymore.
And probably people already knew the results and everything. So you had the spoiler.
We did a pretty good job of keeping it quiet, but of course some people find out, But it stayed suckers, huh? It stayed quiet for the most part.
Keep their mouth shut.
So season 3, we did both. We did 1 week live, and we did it at my gym. And then season 4, we did, this was good. We did 1 week live, tweak. And then the finale, we did season 4, the entire thing we did at the church, at Epic Church, which is a friend of mine, Ivy Marsh. He's a pastor at a church there in Decatur, a really big church. Mm-hmm. At that time, it was called Epic Church. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, he was training jiu-jitsu with us. He's like, hey, I think we could.
That's kind of cool.
We could use it over, because we've been using his facility for the finale already. Yeah. But
I always joke about that. The mat is my temple. Jiu-jitsu is my religion.
It's kind of true, though. Yeah.